What first drew you to Bharatanatyam?
So I always wanted to dance like Vaijanti Malaji, Asha Parekh and that too, their classical performances. I want to do Bharatanatyam and I want to survive with it.
Bharatanatyam or dance as a form of storytelling is one of the most ancient.
Natya is a storytelling where a dancer can take a single line and can portray a story on it. We are not playing one single character. So we have to switch to other characters.
Present day audience who are so hooked on to OTTs and social medias.
Everybody wants to be an artist on social media, but nobody wants to give artists dedication.
Do you remember your first ever story that you performed on stage?
That story of Mahishasur Mardini had so much of impact on me.
Can learning a classical dance form today help the younger generation, the youth of today, to deal with stress, with anxiety?
Of course, yes. What do you do when you get angry? You stamp your feet. One of my students, she is doing psychology. She is doing psychology and dance together. She's treating students with dance.
How does a dancer convey to the audience a story without saying a word?
This is, I call, magic.
Welcome to Stories and Chants. We have with us today Srimati Manasi Nair ji, a highly accomplished Bharatanatyam dancer, choreographer, and Nattuvangam expert. She's the founder, director, and guru of Tapasya School of Classical Dance and Music, where she's mentoring numerous students. She studied Bharatanatyam from the age of 5 under Kalamandalam Guru Sri Anantanarayanan and completed her Arangetram training under late Guru Sri Ramaswamy Bhagavatar. She has a Masters of Fine Arts from Nalanda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya, Mumbai University. She has given many stage performances across Bharat and in other countries too. She has performed at National School of Drama, Delhi, Kala Ghoda Festival and YB Chavan Auditorium. She has conducted shows for ISKCON and Chinmaya Mission. She's also a choreographer who has created many dance dramas on heroes in our history like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and stories from our scriptures like Devi Mahatmyam, Ramayana, Dashavatar, and many more. Very recently, she choreographed a ballet on our glorious past for our defense forces at YB Chavan Auditorium and also a ballet on the life of social worker Sindhutai Sapkalji. Welcome, Mansi ji, to Stories and Chants.
Namaste.
We are very honored and happy to have you here with us today. What first drew you to Bharatanatyam and how did it shape you as a person that you are today?
As a child, you don't know what, at least in my times, we didn't have that exposure. What is Bharatanatyam? What is Katha? What we saw as a dance was always Vaijanti Mala dancing, classical dancing. That was the maximum exposure, that too once in 3 months or whatever we used to see in child.
Nice.
So I always wanted to dance like Vaijanti Malaji, Asha Parekh and that too, their classical performances. Some other things didn't attract me, didn't make me feel fantasize, I should do this. Then my mother thought, okay, she's learning, so she's doing it, watching herself and dancing. So she put me to my Guruji, Guru Kalamandalam Anantanarayanan, where I spent my 10 years. And under his guidance, I did my Arangetram. Also, late Guru Ramaswamy Bhagavatar, who trained me for Arangetram. He was Guruji for Sudha Chandranji.
Okay.
After she got amputated her leg and the operation surgery that went through. So initially when I joined Bharatanatyam, this was typical first, warming up exercises, dancing till your legs are shivering. Those days parents didn't interfere with teachers. Why are you making my daughter slog so much? Oh, she's tired. So it's like, okay, do what your guru tells you. Initially, first few years, I was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday classes, I used to miss my movie time because those were the only 2 days we had movies.
Yes, true.
Even if they were regional movies, I would watch Tamil movies also. So they played a vital role because Tamil movies, South Indian movies had lots of classical dance performance in those days. Jaya Prada,
Yeah.
Advi. So when I actually, in the initial days, as I said, I didn't want it to leave it, it's tiring. But when I reach, after crossing my 6 years, 7 years with my Guruji, after performing, then I got appreciated in my school. My principal, Sir J.M. Shah, he always supported and encouraged. Like every single event in our school would start with my classical dance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think these things, they play a vital role in your schools play a vital role in your upbringing. Only at home is it different, but even school should encourage these things. And then it was like, oh, everybody's appreciating me for this. So that means I'm doing something different.
Yes.
Once or twice, my Guruji said, Mansi, you should do Nalanda Nityakala Mahavidyalaya. Know what it was. As usual, after 10th, I joined commerce. I did 2 years. Then I told my mother, I said, I'm not meant for this. I used to go to Chembur to continue my dancing with late Guru Ramaswamy Bhagavatarji. So I went to Nalanda. There I saw the college. I got the prospectus. My family said there's so much of studies. You can't do anything else. So you will not have plan B. I said, fine. By that time, I had realized that this is my call. I want to do Bharatanatyam and I want to survive with it. So he said, no, the family is always worried with a middle class family. You will not get married. You will not get a proper job, fixed earning. So I told my father, I said, after looking at the subjects and everything, after 2021, I will not ask a single thing from you. I promise, even if I'm okay, whatever I am there, wherever I am, but I want to do this. So I didn't had any plan B. So it is either you swim through it or you get drowned. So I went to Nalanda Tekala Mahavidyalaya. Late Padma Bhushan Guru Kanakreleji, Dr. Srimati Kanakreleji, she met me. She first advised me, oh, you have finished your Arangetram. Why don't you join Mohiniyattam for your college? I don't know what happened that time because her aura was so nice. Even today, I feel she's next to me. In my class, everywhere, whatever I do, I feel what she thinks. Am I doing it right? So her aura was, but still something was there, and I said, I was just 18 or something, 94. It was just 18, 17, 18, and I said, no, teacher, no, ma'am, I want to do Bharatanatyam. I want to learn Bharatanatyam in its depth. I didn't know what I was saying, actually. I think I was so firm that I don't know who uttered those words. I think there was some energy. And she immediately said, yes, you do that. When I started Bharatanatyam in Nalanda, I realized, oh, what I have started. I learned the same step which I had learned under my Guruji at the age of 6 years. But now I knew what I was doing. So learning dancing along with theory background. When we learn around 7 years, almost 364 shlokas from Abhinaya Darpanam. There's a study of Natya Shastra, history, Indus Valley civilization from where our culture begins from. The history of Bharatanatyam, great teachers. So when you read about them, slowly you realize you are on a right path. This is what you wanted to always do.
True. Yes.
So that's how I started my Bharatanatyam.
Oh, that's an amazing journey.
Still going on. It can never.
The most common modes of storytelling is visual, auditory, stage performances. And Bharatanatyam or dance as a form of storytelling is one of the most ancient and it's a very preserved tradition. Unfortunately, not many people are choosing classical dance forms as a extracurricular activity or as a career option. The percentage is dropping a bit low. Why is it important for this form of storytelling to be preserved? And how do we do that?
Bharatanatyam is already reviving itself. There are new dancers, there are new themes coming up. It is a very wrong notion that Bharatanatyam can portray only traditional stories or related to gods and spiritual. It can also talk about social injustice, these days problems, struggles, then social women pressures. It can talk. It's the abhinaya piece of Bharatanatyam. What it deals with is Nritya, and Natya. So Nritya is a pure dance movement, which is like creating shapes in a space. So straight lines, geometrical patterns, everything. So these things you have to learn. First of all, what the dancers should do is they should teach students right from the beginning. Nowadays, what is happening? Just to glorify it, They think the foundation is not so important.
Yes.
At the same time, the senior teachers, they were too strict with their curriculum. Okay, this has to be. I understand what they are saying. But times are changing. Like when, as I said, when I used to go to my guru, I learned one step for 6 months,
Yes,
which is
true.
just sitting in our basic posture, Ramandi, and striking your foot. Nowadays, people, oh, child is just sitting and striking away. They're not understanding that there's a posture and the control of your body is your mind is getting that awareness of controlling your body in different speeds when you're striking your legs in different speeds. So now what you can do is to revive is to make it interesting. Like in my class I do with my small children is, if you practice this first step, with this first step I'll teach you how you can show animals, elephants, deer. So the footwork remains the same. Okay. Then you can use different hastas. So they feel exciting. Then they come. First, you have to see to it that they come to you. Then you have to tell them the importance. It's like a medicine which you give it in a small doses. And then it will show its benefit. So Nritya is abhinaya part of it. Natya is a storytelling. Sanchari bhava. Where a dancer can take a single line and can portray a story on it. For example, if I take a Varnam from Adav Rama Tapovanaadigamanam. So we added 2 3 words to it, which says Adav Rama Tapovanaadigamanam. This is original. Sita Lakshmana Sam. So now it comes Padartha Abhinay. Padartha is word to word Abhinay. They say once Rama to forest, he went. Sita, Lakshmana, Sameta. Word to word. Then comes Vinyasas. Vinyasas is like on father's word, he accepted without saying anything and he left. Leaving Ayodhya, all the treasures, all his kingdom, mighty things, it's not easy to leave behind, and he went through exile with Sita Lakshman. So, what happens? This is a part of like a writing an essay. You're writing a same thing, enhancing your vocabulary and trying to explain, convince audience with the same. Then comes Sanchari, where now Sanchari can be 2 3 upward depending upon the artist uh, execution, what he or she thinks. So I felt I should show why he went to Vanvas. So where we took the episode where Kaikai is asks for the why she is been poisoned by mantra and how she asks for the wounds, and that's the reason we come. So this is a very precise form of storytelling. You take one sentence, you finish that, give reason to it. It's like writing answers. And this is because of this happened. So I think there are very less teachers who have this concept. No, first of all, they start dance classes, even before they have turned proper guru. It takes your whole life. So everyone should understand while teaching you are learning. And there's a deep study for everything that you choreograph. There has to be reasoning. When they don't know, what happens is they take some dance numbers which has been taught by their teachers. Their teachers may knew the concept, but they fail to forward those concepts to students. And then they find it boring. Like our ancestors used to put rangoli. So when my teacher said, okay, when we put rangoli, you feel happy. And I actually realized it's happy. So you would like to put it. So this generation, you have to give them proper reasoning. So they will come to it. And then there will be a eureka mood. Oh, this happened. Oh, because of this, it happened. And through these stories, you can inculcate values, culture within the students. Like Kaikai, if I say, if we are taking Kaikai episode. So when you talk about Kaikai, Dashratha, you have to tell them that who is Dashratha. Okay, why he was fond of Kaikai? He was not a very layman who was fond of Kaikai because she was beautiful. He was a Chakravarti Raja who fought against Asuras along with Deva. And she was the queen who accompanied in that war. She was beautiful, she was talented, she was brave, she was extremely known with her day-to-day politics. She loved Rama from the core of her heart. Still, few minutes or few days of poisoning with a wrong influence, her entire image has been shattered. Nobody today names your daughter Kaikai. Stepmothers are still known as Kaikai. Till the end of this yuga, she will be cursed. She will be humiliated only this one, because so you should choose your influences correct, whom you are surrounded with, whom you are listening to. So this is a very subtle message through stories you can give it.
Very beautiful. And youngsters these days, not only youngsters, every person of all ages need to know this particular concept. Who you surround yourself with talks a lot about who you are.
Yes.
How has your understanding of Bharatanatyam as a form of storytelling evolved from when you started it till now?
The first story that I performed under my guru's guidance, as a child, was a story of where Brahma and Vishnu, they had a fight over superiority.
Yes.
I was very happy to do those stories. One character showing Vishnu, Brahma, and coming to that level where you also show pillar
Okay.
and you come out. So I was very convinced. But those days, as I said, I was in a hobby class. I was learning what my Guruji was telling me. Just before that, as I said, teachers need to adapt things. Teacher needs to evolve. They need to update themselves. So when I came to Nalanda, and I realized, oh, I did hastas what my Guruji told me. But when I came to Nalanda, I learned vinyogas of hastas. Vinyogas is like how to use your hastas. So that becomes your hastas is a structured language. So which the same hasta can be used as in different ways, for mirror, for cutting, for touching,
For beating.
for beading. Yeah. So I do it with my students. I said, take any one hasta and tell me according to this new concept how you can use it. Like Tripada, you can put bindis. In abhinaya, it also has that you can have tattoos. So though tattoo is not a new. So when I came to not only hastas, then there was a study of character studies, like Naika Bheda, Nayaka Bheda, characters of humans like Uttama, Madhyama, Adhama. And through this, you should tell your stories. How your story will convince, if you're taking a particular character, how that character you will build. It is based on this theory, the story background. It's not that, Ravan hai, to bas adas muh dikha diya, and you're angry and showing this. Anger of Ravana is different than anger of Devi. Right?
Yeah.
He had ahamkara, though he was Vidwan, he was very handsome, it's supposed to be. He was huge. He had all the capacity to become Chakravarti, capture the whole world and rule whom you are surrounded with, whom you are listening to. Used it in a negative way.
Yes, true.
So while telling a story, each character you have to study. That difference I can see today in my choreography. When I study a character, as I said, you have to study each and every single character, what it happened. It's like taking a gist of that character, because you have only few counts or certain repetitions to show the character. But then that few counts, your study needs to be very deep. You need to study that character.
Yes.
So in Nalanda, I was taught to study about the character, the four abhinayas, odd abhinayas like Angika abhinaya, Vachika abhinaya, Aharya abhinaya, Satvika abhinaya.
Oh, wow. So many
Yes,
abhinayas.
there are four types of abhinayas. Angika, which deals with your body.
Body.
So every character coming from different paths of life will have a different body language. So angas, upangas, pratyangas, like major limbs, minor limbs, facial limbs, how to use it with different characters and their abhinaya. Then according to that character, your vachika should match. Like if I'm doing Jatayu's character, I asked my composer to compose a jati which will allow me to fly take a movement of flight with the wings, huge Jatayu wings. It's not. So I need something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's called Sankeda 9. So my Vachika, I need to know with what kind of music I want. So this will be my movements. So that should match with this thing. Aharya, the costumes. Now, like we have Loka Dharmi, there are two dharmis. We have Loka Dharmi and Natya Dharmi present. We present Natya Dharmi. It's a suggestive. Because if I put Jatayu mask, my dancer's ability will not be seen of Abhinay.
Yes.
So when I do it in a ballet, I can do it with a suggestive, with some kind of cloth flying in the. I can use some fabrics. But when I do Bharatanatyam, I don't use anything because this is Ekahari Abhinay. So storytelling in ballet, dance dramas, and same story when I tell in Bharatanatyam form repertoire, it is different because it is Eka Harya Abhinay. I don't have support of costumes. Harya is same, so it is Eka Harya Abhinay, and in dance dramas it is Aneka Harya. So you have particular costumes for particular characters. So you should be knowing what it is, how she will or he will be dressed. You cannot go over the board by your imagine, okay, she can wear this, he can wear this. No. And comes Satvika Abhinay to feel those emotions. Right from when to get tears and when you should know how to stop those tears because we are not playing one single character. So we have to switch to other characters. So this entire study of characters, how to do it, dharmis, as I said, presentation, mode of presentation, vrittis, from where the character, the geographical factors, and where it comes from, what is the backstory of that character. This, after studying the theory, it evolved me. So now when I choreograph, it is not mere hastas, beats,
Yeah. Yes.
So people ask me, Arey, you do it every day. I said, it's like a yagya. When you perform yagya, you cannot say, I said mantras those days. I've already given ahuti. No, no, no. Every yagya, you'll give separate ahuti. Again, you'll repeat the mantras.
Yes, true.
So that's how theory has evolved.
Well, that's very beautiful. I didn't realize that there was so much of in-depth study involved in this dance form. How to make these ancient classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam more appealing to the present day audience who are so hooked on to OTTs and social medias and mobile phones. They are into that scrolling age where their attention span is so less. How do you get them?
When it comes to mobile and social media, we cannot take away from that.
Yes, true.
We cannot take away. So might as well we use it for the propagation and propaganda for classical dancing. And there are dancers who are making reels, who are making a good Instagram reels and YouTube channels, and they're doing a good content. But what I feel is there has to be a watch on this content, what contents. Is this social media is used. Everybody wants to be an artist on social media, but nobody wants to give artist dedication. Okay, nobody wants to take a risk of being an artist.
True.
So they want to do separate things for their living. They want to do separate things for being famous. So in this, what happens? You compromise on your standards, whichever style of art it is. I will not say particularly Bharatanatyam, many. So there we have to have a watch on this social media what your child is watching. What and you can refer them. If you can't control them, you can refer, okay, just go through it once. It's like every day one reel or one thing which you think as a teacher, which I do with my students, I tell them, I said, you see whatever you want, but if I send you something, you're supposed to see that. I may ask you.
Yeah.
We may discuss it on. So that's how I think we can make good use of this social media. At the same time, on stage, we cannot stick to, we'll show only our traditional stories. Like I performed a small story related to Srimati Sindhutai Sapkaji.
Yes.
It was brilliant. It was just 17 minutes. We performed it for Ashok Singhal Rugnala in Saim. It's a cancer. And they loved it. If you know Sindhutai, she was called Chindi by her parents. Chindi is a waste cloth, piece of cloth, which is of no use.
Yeah, no use. True.
You just throw it. And then I gave that reference of Chindi. It may not be Chindi may not be important for you and me. But for Lord Krishna, it was very important. When Draupadi tied one Chindi of her cloth to his hand, with that surrender, with that love for him, that way he gave it back, it multiplied it when she was in distress. So you can give such references through your modern themes, still connected to your tradition, and then they feel, okay, you can do this thing in Bharatanatyam. So the entire story, we can show how empathy, what kind of empathy she had for people. There are two characters, people are two times. Once when they go through some struggle, abuse, and they think, okay, I got this abuse, so I have full right to retaliate. I will trouble others. I will break the rules of social norms because I was abused. This is one class of people. If you take Sindhutai, her life was full of struggle. not accepted by parents, got married at the age of 9 to a person who was 30-year-old,
My God.
kicked off, had 3 children, kicked off of her house. She delivered her third child in a cow shed. No, she was kicked because she was blamed by someone. So the society was abusing her. Husband was not there to take care of her. She was not allowed to educate. She used to read papers from dustbins and waste, and she used to try to write it with the coal on the walls. And after doing all these things, today she has a huge. She's not there anymore, sadly, but she created a NGO which supported more than 2,000 girls and boys who were left on the streets. And used to call them, these are my sons and my daughter-in-laws, my daughters and my son-in-laws. So there's two different ways of reacting to what you went through.
Very true.
And then which one you want to adopt will decide what you are.
Very profound. Thank you so much. And that again is another lesson for all of us, I feel. Choosing how you want to react to what has happened to you. Very important.
Very
Do you remember your first ever story that you performed on stage?
my Arangetram, and it still has impact on me. I have a lot of inclination towards Devi. And I performed Ashtav Bhujangam. It's a kirtanam on Mahishasur Mardini. But as I said, those days exposure was less. Even gurus used to stick to the strict choreography, what was taught to taught to them by their teachers. But it never used to get diluted. They used to teach as it is because, as I said, my Arangetram practice was with Guru Ramaswamy Bhagavatar. So my teacher, Guru Ananta Narayan, used to teach me, and then he used to take me there to show to our. So there was a closed wall. That story of Mahishasur Mardini had so much of impact on me, where she kills Mahishasura. She is the one who holds the shastras with the beautiful eyes. She's wearing that red color sari, red costume, red flowers.
Yes.
Then we also performed Krishna stories. So first he used to like Krishna used to steal clothes. So those, as I said, as a child you just do what you think are to be done. But when you study, then I understood. Okay, Krishna is not stealing your clothes. He's taking away your ego, because your clothes, your outer appearance is your ego, how you look. So you surrender to him with leaving your ego aside. So these are the stories that created impact. But at that age, I didn't know this philosophical this
Aspect
thing.
behind it, yeah.
But I still love doing Krishna. I still love doing Devi. Devi is something which I do every time in my performances. She has to be there.
So she's your Ishta Devata.
Yeah, I surrender. It's okay. If she thinks this has to happen, may not be. I may not wish for that thing, but okay. If this is her, well, I'll accept it.
Can learning a classical dance form today help the younger generation, the youth of today, to deal with stress, with anxiety, and the other modern living pressures that they have? Will it help them?
Of course, yes. As I said, the first step that we learn is stamping. What do you do when you get angry? You stamp your feet.
Stamp.
Okay, but when you're already learning dancing, so all that energy is always being used. So you can control your anger. While dancing, what you learn is there's a threshold. When you're performing for 2 hours, there's a threshold for every dancer, where your body, mind says, stop, I don't want to. My legs are shivering. I can't move. If you cross that threshold, if you just build up your willpower at that point, no, I will not stop. I'll move ahead. That's where you learn to fight your struggles. When you go through emotional stress, there's always a point when you feel, no, it's enough, we are done. That 1 minute or 2 minutes, if you just step back and think, is it so bad? Then you can move on. So that's how, when you go through this abhinaya process, your physical exercise, your emotional expression. So you are using your emotions, and you get answers in your small choreographies, in your small stories of what you learned during the dancing period. Like if you are talking about Krishna, so he comes to gopis when they are telling him, okay, I know I don't have time to play with you. I have this duty to do. I have this thing to do. So God comes to you when you are doing your duties. So He is there after you. Ki, okay, I want to be with you. So this is a subtle message again. When it is comes to, like as I said, Devi assassination, when Devi kills Mahishasura, it is not a murder. It is a righteous thing that she does. So that's why I said there's a difference of anger between Mahishasura's anger and Devi's anger. One has a purpose. So the people who protect us are called soldiers. The people who kill are called murderers for their selfish reasons. Then when it comes to like rasa teaching, there's beautiful rasa, hasya rasa, one of the 8 rasas that we have. It has 6 types of hasyas. Okay. This I especially involve with my students, and I tell them what is the, like, first Smita and Hasita are for Uttama characters. Uttama characters means when I'm sitting in front of my Guruji, my elders of my family, how do I smile? Now everybody's bro. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when you're teaching, standing in front of your principal, your gurus, elders of your family, you have this, smita hasita, gentle smile. When your uncles, aunts, this hasita, little broader smile. You open up with them. So that is a uttama behavior of yours. Then comes vihasita. There is a laughter, gentle laughter, where you're mocking with your friends, you're enjoying doing things. And next is upahasita. It's a laughter of ridicule, where sarcasm comes in. You you may talk to someone in sarcasm, the person may not understand. So that is madhyama. Okay, it's a normal human behavior. You can do it. Because till then you're not harming someone else.
Yes.
You are not enjoying someone's trouble. You're not enjoying when somebody is in distress. Then comes apahasita, where you want to others to be troubled and you enjoy. That is adhama. And atihasita is the excessive level where of rakshasas, where they you enjoy
The pain of others.
pain of others. So what you want to be? What is your character? You are madhyama. You can be madhyama. You can be uttama at certain times. But as I said, in schools, when you are getting bullied or when you are bullying someone, always see to it that the person, if is getting affected negatively, you are adhama. Mocking, teasing, doing masti is all right till both of you are enjoying it. Both are in win-win situation. It's a friendly thing. Where one person gets benefited, the other person is going through hell. That is not the right way of behavior. So when you learn these things, is what I was saying, that these days pressure, peer pressure, ki, okay, I want to be like this. They can handle this because they know following someone does not make sense.
Yes. This, who will teach them? Not every child goes into dance for them to learn it. So, how will they learn this?
So there's a universal phenomenon of storytelling. I think that starts right before even the child is born. If you take a prenatal care, our elders and sisters said that you should read good books
Yes.
and you should tell stories. So the first encounter, the child talks, the interactions of the child is with the mother, with the family that he's going to be, or he or she is going to be born in. Mother connection is obviously direct, but the others are also responsible because they make what mother is thinking. Right? So once the child is born, you start talking. Even before that, you talk to them. You tell them good stories. You could listen to good things. Today, science is also saying all doctors tell parents, do this, do this, do that. Whereas we already had this 16 sanskaras in our thing. Garbhadharana sanskar.
Yes.
Parents were asked to follow certain diet. Today, doctors tell them, okay, stop using liquors and stop.
Yeah.
But this was already there, to have a sattvic food, have a good discipline life. So this was already there in our culture. So you don't need to go to classical dancing or classical singing to learn these things. This is from every home should know this. So if we talk about peer pressures and all, first we should look inside where are we lacking? Why our generations are going like this? Are we doing our sanskars properly? Our 16 sanskars, what we are going through, at least first the Garbhadharana sanskar, then everything is aligned with it. So storytelling starts right from the child's. You can directly sleep talking, and that everybody does. I think not. We don't need to be in that particular country or something. It's everywhere. It's a universal phenomenon, as I said. Storytelling, and these stories will have different impacts on you in life. When life throws surprises at you and stories you remember.
Yes.
You don't remember people, but you remember stories. So these stories will give you answers in time when you think, okay, this happened. So there will be some story which your mother, your grandmother, or your teacher must have told you. So they you will have your dangers from the stories. You will realize, your life, the dangers that the story had. Your life will also have in different shapes or names, but they'll have it. What you did it at the time of crisis, the story didn't. You can also do it. So you don't need to go to. It's not only dance class. Obviously, dance classes will help you to solve these issues, connect with the students. If you go to see performances, but this is from every single person to person. Stories are so close to your heart. You may not remember what happened or what incident, whom you met, but if the person has told you the story which has convinced you,
Then you'll remember it.
you'll remember. So story form inseparable part of our culture, and which should now continue. And it's not only about reading; it's also talking,
Talking
telling.
about it. Yes. And it starts from
But
the root,
yes,
the
it should
family.
not be on screen. School should also inculcate. Okay, show the story on screen. Fine, it is available. But before that, just tell a story. So when the child is watching it, oh, I know this.
He's able to connect to it much
Yes.
better.
I know the story. I know. I have heard this story. This was the answer. As I said, peer pressure story. So there's a beautiful story of this mouse with seven tails. There's a mouse which has seven tails. Is it- and he goes to the school and everybody's saying, oh, mouse with the mouse with the seven tail. So he comes home, he tells his mother, I am terribly affected with this. You cut my tail. He said, it's painful, bacha. It's not good for you. He said, no, at least cut one. So this procedure goes on till he has one tail, just like other. And then they start teaching mouse with one tail. He comes home again crying, mother, please cut this tail also. She's like, I can't. This is the only one and everybody has one. He said, no, everybody is teasing me. So he cuts that. And next day he goes to school. Then they start teasing mouse with no tail. So this will teach them how to behave. Following trends will change every single day. Following trends is not important. Make yourself a trend.
Have you ever used dance as a way to express or to process what is happening in your life?
Every dancer or every artist, they always have some personal experience they carry with themselves. It may be a joyous experience. It may be something which you have faced as a child, as a woman, you while traveling. So there are so many experiences as a friend, family. So there is always some experience which you carry to stage with yourself, but it's like you don't use your personal experiences. You use it in a universal form. What has happened to you. You are not the first or last one to have. It must have happened to someone else also. It might be joyous experience also. It might be sorrowful misery. But you are not the first or the last to go through it. So you have to make that experience universal so that you can talk about it. You can teach your audience or your uh, students to take this experience and learn something from that rather than either too much enjoying and being excited, oh, what happened to me? Nothing, this can happen to someone else. This is only mine. There's nothing in this world which will happen only to you. There are always some people ahead of you, there will be some who will be following you. So, how you make this experiences a learning tool to teach what you felt, to react on that particular. Sometimes, maybe I must have reacted in a different way which I was not supposed to. So, through art, I can correct that. So, yes, Bharatanatyam has always been a mode of expression for me. where I could express what I feel. Where it's a different, I'm in a different world. I create my own world where I'm happy. It's,
Yes. If you get to choose, then why not?
yes. And I think I'm the chosen one. That I'm getting to do this and I'm allowed to do this. And every time whatever I did, it's God is there to take care of me.
It's a very beautiful feeling to
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Regarding this, can I tell one story for
Yes, please, please.
recently I went to Vrindavan and there was the guide who was also telling stories. He used to come up with the different stories with that typical leza of Moko, Lalla, and it was sounding very beautiful. Out of all the stories that he was telling me of Krishna Lila, which almost I knew, there was one story, I think it was a local story, where he said that there was an old man, beggar. He had nothing to survive. But he was there, he used to come sit next to, what he liked was to sit in the front of God and pray him. People would give him food. He didn't ask for anything. And whoever gave him food, he would just utter a word and that word would come true. If he says something, that would come true. And this, all his kirti, it expanded, went to king. So king called him, saying, call him. Everybody saying that whatever he says,
Comes true.
it comes true. So call him to the river. Ask king to come here. I don't want anything, but I don't want to leave this place. My God is here. No, no, king has called you, so you have to come. So he goes there. King tells, he takes a fishing rod and he puts it in the pond and says, tell me what will come out. Old man says, if I tell you something and it doesn't come out, I'll kill you. And if it comes true, I'll give you so much of gold, diamonds, jewelry. You'll be drowned in it. You'll have so much of wealth. He talks to God, I never meant to have this. I didn't wanted this. But if you want me to die this humiliated death, I accept it. And he says, you'll get a live pigeon. Zinda kabutar niklega. King says, think again. You're talking of a bird who never stays in water, and you're saying if it goes in water, it will come alive. I never think when I say. Similarly, today I didn't think of my death or of my wealth. I just said what came to my mind. And he says, okay, fine, now you're gone. He puts the rod, comes, and the live pigeon comes out. So king says, give him wealth. He says, I don't want anything. My God saved me from dying this humiliated death. I'm happy, just let me go to my God. So when he comes home, he sees God himself is sitting there. He's giving him darshan and God is bleeding. He starts crying. What happened? What I did? They'll say, are you foolish? How did you answer Zinda Kabutar? You could have answered fish. You could have answered tortoise. Even for that matter, crocodile. I would have arranged it. They say that. But when you said Zinda Kabutar, I cannot get Kabutar. I had to come myself.
Ayyo.
So because of you, I had to come here. But you had so much of trust in me, surrender, that I came for you. So that kind of, it was so pleased. Apart from other stories, this story impacted me so much that, I'm waiting for some theme where I can inculcate this story.
That is so amazing. What role does Bharatanatyam or any classical dance form play in creating empathy, in creating understanding in people today?
Any character which has gone through a distress, when you study about it, or when you tell the story, as I said, Sindhu Tai Sapkaji, then we have stories of so many women in our past,
Yeah.
right from Kunti, Gandhari. So there are books which explain their character. When we see one character, we just see what has been shown in serials. But when you read books, you understand the character. So empathy, like you can see there is a story of Gopi, which when Krishna is leaving for Mathura, she has never been able to go there because she had so many duties surrounded her. She never went for rasa. So she said, now God will not even know me because I never went. And when Krishna was leaving, he stopped at her doorstep. And she said, how come you have come here to see me? You were doing your duties. Every time remembering you me and you were still doing your duties. So I have to see. So that story of that little girl who is doing her duties, who's doing her course and still remembering, sacrificing her own desires to go to dance, but she's finally doing her duties. So, such kind of stories. Dance can do these things through storytelling aspects. They can take social issues, concern the social modern days concepts, and relating to the old stories, their how they are related and how they are applicable to this modern days. When you show these things with your abhinaya expression, and when you give them conclusion, or sometimes you just leave it, there's no conclusion, the audience will be forced to think.
Yes.
So giving out the right content in any madhyam, with it can be Bharatanatyam, any other dance style, it can be drama, theatre.
Yes.
You can, through storytelling and incidences happening, and relate them to the incidences happening around you. Today we don't think, what, okay, this is happening in the other side. Now it's, we are not related.
Yeah. Yes.
So dance teaches you how to put yourself into others' shoes. Stand there, think what he or she must have thought, whether it may be negative or whether it may be positive. What Sita must have gone through when she was in the scene. So you have to think like Sita. Mata Sita, ki how she went through, she was surviving. She could have accepted the whole thing, but on what made her? It was not only surrender to Lord Rama and love for him, it was also her own self respect.
Yes.
What Draupadi went through when she had this. When she asked the question, you should understand it is the society does not go wrong because there are wrong people. Society goes wrong because there are right people who stay silent. Her entire agitation was that. She was not angry with Duryodhana because that is what she expected from him. But today also we see these things. People don't support. There are so many things, incidents happening where they are surrounded with the people, but nobody comes forward. So the agitation of Draupadi was not because of Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra. It was how her husbands behaved, how Bhishma Pitama behaved, how Dronacharya, Guru Dronacharya was there. And they all had capability to fight this. Nobody in history would have questioned them. Why did you do this?
Yes.
So when you do such characters and when you portray and when you relate it to modern days incidents, you understand, okay, you behaved like whom? Whether you were the Duryodhana of that story, Dhritarashtra of that story, Gandhari of that story,
True. You should have the ability to make the
make
people.
yourself and talk to yourself.
Yes.
Only when you show this kind of incidences on portray thing, people are forced to, they might not accept it in openly, but at least within yourself, ask yourself questions every night. What you did today was right, or could have been something else, or how can you change this?
Change it.
But you have to relate this thing, and we have everything in our tradition, our history, which we can relate.
We have lot of stories.
Yeah, a lot of stories.
True. We just need a very good person who can convey it
Yes,
so that
convince.
it triggers the other person, the audience, to think
Yes,
in that manner.
even that for that matter, students in schools,
Yeah.
how your teacher explains your topics,
Yeah.
so that will have impact on you.
It'll either create that interest or that
Yes, yes,
disinterest.
yes,
Very
yes,
true.
yes, yes, yes. See, teaching good students, I always feel those students, those who are already good in dance, they have adapted, they want to learn dance, they are going to dance better. No doubt. I will teach them, I'll correct their nuances. But my victory as a guru, if I create interest in someone who was not for it, and they come and tell me, Miss, ab mujhe अच्छा लगा. Now I feel, and I've seen so many students, coming back after learning for 7, 8 years. Now I want to do this. I want to continue this. They involve dancing in their curricula. Like one of my students, she is doing psychology. She is doing psychology and dance together. She's treating students with dance.
Oh, wow.
So what she's learned, so that makes me feel more proud. Okay. It's not only she's using it for entertainment or surviving, but she is made a mode of surviving, not only with surviving, but to teach so that they can talk.
They can
They can
heal.
express.
They can heal themselves.
They can heal themselves.
True. Very beautiful. How does a dancer convey to the audience a story without saying a word?
This is, I call, magic. And I explain, it's like creating an illusion which is not there. When we show statues, like if I'm showing a Ram Darbar, I ask my students to visualize things in blood and flesh. You have to think everything. Like if I'm showing Ram Darbar with Sita ji, Ram ji, and Lakshman ji, and Hanuman sitting there. So when you take a pose of a Sita, you take it so convincingly that when you go move to Lakshmana, audience should still see that pose. It's just something, a magical experience which dancers create. And when you finish showing the three poses and the Hanuman, and when then you see, look at it as a, your audience should see what you left behind. It should be still there. And this happens with the correct movements of, how there comes physics, there comes geometry, because how you align your figures. There comes physics because how you force it, how you hold it or poise it. Then comes the history part of it. What kind of uh, statues or images you want to show. It can be a colorful image, it can be a metal image, it can be an image made of stone, Mahabalipuram. So, what you see, your audience will see. So, you have to see it so strongly in blood and flesh. Like if you are showing a bee, you should understand how the bee looks, its size, its shape, weight. You should be able to hear humming sound of that bee, the way it flickers around. That speed, you should know what it is. So when you show that with simple, when you can see this, your audience can see. So without saying a word, you can convey this only when you have a, as I said, you for 4 counts, when you study 100 counts, you are able to portray 4 counts. So abhinaya is nobody can teach you. Teacher can give you experience. Teacher can guide you. Okay, go through the stories or learn this or give some references. But this is something which you have to develop. And there comes where the dancer develops herself. She becomes a different person. She knows she creates in that 32 by 32 stage. She creates these 3 worlds where she can show Patala, she can show heaven, she can show earth. She can show demons, she can show gods, she can portray human beings of different statures, with different characters. As I said, Uttama Madhyama, they can be king. So she's the same, or he is the same one person, showing these different things because they feel it. They have to transcend themselves from that 32 by 32. You can't say, okay, there's a stage, there's wings. And being aware that you are on stage. So it is again a higher form of meditation where you're transcending yourself to different planes at a time, being conscious of music, what is running going on. So you should be aware what beats you are following, where it is going to end, and you should know that you're standing on a stage, the surroundings.
There are very different levels of awareness that you have.
Awareness and at a time. This is not okay, I'll be aware I'm on the stage, then I'll be aware of that I'm doing this thing, and I'll be aware of music. No. Dance is a higher form of art because we call it mother of arts, because you live, dancing lives in space and time in that particular moment.
It all happens together.
Together, it all happens together. All your senses are working together, all your buddhi, manas, everything is working together. Your body is working at the same time, your feet is following rhythm, your face is following expression, your hasta is forming structured language. No, which is because, as I always tell my students when they hold like this, I said, practice your hastas so good. I said, how you, if you write paper, and if you say, I know the matter, but if your handwriting is not good,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. What you have written, your examiner will not understand. So similarly, hastas form that structural language where you have to form them very consciously. Use them, you should know what it is. How you're using the levels of hastas will change. Same hastas, as I said.
Yeah.
It's a very magical movement, experience for dancers. And when she's able to convince, the convincing power, audience is convinced, they experience that magic and they also transcend themselves to a different plane. She carries them to a different plane. That's where there's an exchange of emotions and they both are in one space and time. Your audience and your performer.
It's very beautiful. Thank you. If someone thinks that classical dance form has no place in this real modern life, what would you say to them?
People will say many things, as I said. There is one thing. you don't know the field. There is another thing, you don't want to know the particular concept. And that's fine. If you know certain, if you don't know certain, you don't need to know everything in the world. Fine. You need not want to know everything in the world. That is also fine. But not knowing, not wanting to knowing, and then making foolish judgment, that is foolishness. If I don't see certain things, that means they don't exist.
Yeah.
That's my foolishness. I'm unaware of what is there, not there. So there will be people who will say this. So whenever people like this, they come to me, I explain them. I take out my time. It's okay. You cannot say that everybody should know what is classical dancing. Not possible. So how you talk to them, how you being humble to them. If they don't know, fine. If they don't want to know, that is also still fine. But if you are making a judgment, if you are passing certain statements, then you should be ready to listen to what you're doing. Allow other person also to say what they put up their point. Just by saying this is not there. It's foolishness. Guru Veena Lokhande ma'am, she was teaching us philosophy. We also have philosophy as a subject. So we're learning Shankaracharya's concept of mithya. One of my friends, she asked, we all were 21, 22, and what if he says everything is mithya? And what if I go and stand in front of bus? He said, stand, bus is also mithya. You will die. Your death is also mithya. So you're not dying. And that where it clicked. Yes. If we say the world is mithya, we are also mithya. It's not only the objects. What happens is when we see world separate, we are separate entity. This is happening there. We are part of that whole system. One small molecule of it, which has got a shape, name, and everything we have given. But it is same story for everyone. So if you don't know, don't pass judgment. Since centuries, ages, this dance has survived. And still it is surviving. And I will say today, young dancers are putting a lot of efforts on Instagram reels. Different concepts of Bharatanatyam are coming up. They draw this figure and they exactly what I try to tell my students. They call it bukastra, penastra for me. I draw figures in the balance. I said how the whole, when you balance the leg behind and you bend forward, there's one ring, imaginary ring which goes around you. So you have to touch the core of that ring. One with your eye, one with your hand, and one with your leg. So when you touch that, you balance. Your axis has to be clear. You should know how to hold your axis. It's like earth axis. If it moves,
Wobbles.
it will topple.
Yeah.
But if you know your core, if you can hold your body in that axis, you will balance. So these are the things they are putting up in Instagram reels. They are drawing geometrical graphs. This happens, half body. So we were telling this for ages. But now social media, they are using that medium to explain in many details. If you are a person, "Chale, aisa hi hota hai. Life is like this." What I believe is it. Huh. If it's not, then you can't. You can't uplift the person who does not want to be uplifted.
Yeah. True.
If the person is sleeping, सोने वाले को जगाया जा सकता है. The person who doesn't want to get up, how will you do that? A person who talks like this also should think that art which has survived for ages, if there are being people rewarded with higher rewards, Padma Bhushan, these are not the rewards which anybody can gain. There must be something, at least that one thing has to be there.
Yes.
I can teach who wants to learn.
Learn.
If the person is, I don't want to learn, how the teacher is responsible? As I said, if somebody doesn't want to go and stand under the sunlight, you cannot have vitamin D.
True.
Sun is there. You denying it, you close, okay, it's too hot, close the door, put on the AC. I want to sit in the dark. You will be ullu. You want to sit in the dark. You'll have to take tablets.
Yes.
It's not sun, it is doing its duty.
Through classical dance forms, how can we offer a different experience to the audience that is different from, let's say, cinema or any other audiovisual experience?
Stage and cinema, both are different mediums of representation of the art. They all represent three worlds. What is happening around you, what is... But the difference between this is movies have a technical support, cinema. And they have a technical support. They have effects,
Yes.
sound effects, visual effects, and it is edited,
Yes.
technically edited.
Yes.
Whereas on stage, it is unedited performance. It does not have a support of so much of what you have in cinemas. There's just though they use LEDs, which is very good, but they don't have a support as such. So lightings is maximum what they use, but everything is unedited. It is what happens. Similarly, in cinema, it does not go in a chronicle order. The shoots can be done in different levels, different situations. And on stage, once you start, the flow of the story has to go properly
Together.
till the
Yes.
end, till you reach the climax. Then again in cinema, your audience is in a different space and time, and your artists are in different space and time. It is already been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if audience miss something, they can rewatch it. So attention span of audience can be unless and until you really hold on to a movie and you want to somebody who is keen. I want to see a single movement of them, and
Yeah.
it is larger than your. Whereas on stage, it is you can't watch it again. So an audience and performer, the spectator and performer, they share same
Same.
space and time. The approach is 360-degree. So what I see in 180-degree, even the audience has to be attentive to see what is happening in that 180-degree. So the overall thing is 360-degree, complete circle. So that is there. And on stage, there can be surprises, mishaps.
Yes. True.
Yes, which you can avoid
Cinema.
easily in cinemas. You don't see what is going wrong. On stage, when the things are going wrong, still the artist manages to sustain. Even when the legs are shivering and the body is tired, you have to have a same smile. Like unlike other sports, which are happening if you're seeing any sports, you can have facial expression on your face where you're agitated, angry, or you're tired, you can yell, but not on stage. You have to be smiling. So you involve that experience is two ways. So I think that's the beauty of stage, but cinema has its own.
Has a different experience. True. What does dance mean to you beyond the performance and beyond the applause?
Dance has always been, as I said, it's an experience. Every single performance is an experience. So applause, obviously, I like them. I love to perform. But this is only when I started performing.
Yeah.
This experience I started getting long before that when I started learning. So every time you learn, every time you understand the movements, as I said, when I danced, same movement at the age of 19, which I had learned at the age of 6. That first time I experienced, oh, this is it. It was a simple step, sitting in a position, aramandi, striking your feet, controlling your body. But then you understand the human anatomy. Okay, which part of your body should be balanced, which part of body is moving. So this experience started long before I started performing. And that experience gave me inclination to perform more and to know the pulse of your audience because you want to share that experiences. Good experiences you always want to share. You want people to know your experience.
Yes.
You want people to enjoy that moment of spirituality. So this started long before I performed.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mansiji, for coming here and
Thank
sharing
you
your
so much.
experiences and your stories, most especially with all of us over here. It was a very riveting podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.